All away for the windy weather, boys. All away, boys. All away, oh, all away and pull together, boys. All away, boys. All away. All away for the merchant money, boys. All away, boys. All away, oh, all away, and let's get going, boys. All away, boys. All away. God made the food, but the devil made the cook, boys. All away, boys. All away, and the grub that...
The Scrimshaw is an American whaling folk art where the sailors took whale teeth, which is what this is, and engraved designs into the ivory, rub a paint over it, and the paint stays in all the scratches. So that's basically what Scrimshaw definition is. The sailors also worked in other materials such as whale bone. This is a corset stay that was engraved and painted. This is an old whale bone fid that they would have used to splice rope, that type of thing. Whale bone knitting needles. So all these pieces were done by a sailor 100, 150 years ago. Ivory, polish it, engrave the design, rub an ink over it, wipe the ink away, and the ink stays in all the scratch lines and rubs right off the polished. The different ivories that we work with, these are all old ivories, there's nothing new. We're using antique elephant ivory, sperm whale tooth, ancient walrus, prehistoric mammoth ivory. Both of these are found buried in the tundra of Alaska, and both of those have to have been in the country before certain dates, following the Endangered Species Act. And the engraving tool is all that we use. I'm going to show you step by step of how to do Scrimshaw on an antique ivory piano key. You find them a lot of times in this condition where they're still attached to the wooden arm. I'll strip the key by soaking the ivory, and usually with overnight it will slip right off. Sometimes they're in rough condition. You might have to scrape off the wood on the back or some of the paint or some of the glues that held them. I'll take the key and file the edges, usually with a wood file, and just clean up any rough parts. Then using sandpaper, you can apply some tape to the back of the piano key, and that gives you a area to grab hold of easier. And I'll start with a coarse grit, maybe a 200 grit, and start sanding. And you're just looking to get any imperfections out of the face of the ivory, and then work your way up to a finer grit. So this is 400, and just keep sanding and looking for any scratches. And from this point, you can take it and put it on a buffing cloth. This is a jeweler's cloth. A lot of times we'll put it on a buffing wheel. If you've got that works great. And again, you're just looking to get the surface from that original dull to a real nice shiny polished surface. And I mount the piece on double stick tape. Again, just gives me a nice working area. And my scribe is an old dentist drill bit that I've knocked the burr off and ground it down to a sharp point and mounted it in a drafting pencil. So with the light reflection, you can see your lines, and you're just going to start and scratch right into the ivory. The harder you push, the darker the line will be. But you kind of get a feel for the pressure. It's not real hard, but it's you can feel the ivory scratching. And then come back with a detail. If you want to do a lighter line, you press a little less. Darker lines are again heavier. And when I come in with shading detail, I'm doing a lot of parallel lines. So this is a cross-hatching technique. So each time we just keep engraving with a lot of real tight parallel lines. This is a little softer than you'd push if you're doing the hull of the ship or your darker lines. And then you can come back at a 90-degree angle and pick up that cross hatching, and that will darken the piece and give you that the shade that you're looking for. When you're finished with the engraving, you're ready to put on the ink. And the inks that I use are a lacquer-based paint. It's actually Floquill's the brand. They're designed for railroad models, so you can usually find it at most hobby shops. And I apply the paint with a soft cloth. And I like this paint because it does dry relatively quickly, and it's a permanent paint. So you just rub it in, making sure in a swirling motion that you're getting the ink in all the lines that you've engraved. And it dries quickly, usually in 10 or 15 seconds. It's dry enough to come back with a soft part of the cloth, and I just start rubbing the paint right off of the polished part of the ivory, and it will stay in all your scratches. Once you've cleaned all the paint off the surface, you can peel it off of your working surface and usually clean the edges just to finish the look of the piece. And then once you've cleaned the piece, pretty much finished. You can either mount it as a jewelry piece, maybe a brooch pin or something with a piano key. A lot of times I like to affix them to the top of boxes, jewelry boxes, pill boxes, things like that. So I work with a few different craftsmen that make the wood boxes. So if I'm mounting a piece on a box, I'll use a contact cement and a lot of times drill little pilot holes and maybe pin the piece to the box. It makes it a little more decorative.
All the way for the windy weather, boys. All the way, boys. All the way, oh, all the way, and pull together, boys. All the way, boys. All the way. All the way for the merchant money, boys. All the way, boys. All the way, oh, all the way, and let's get going, boys. All the way, boys. All the way.